All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the August 2025 edition of the Vicksburg Planning Commission meeting. The time is 7 o'clock, and I'm going to call this meeting to order. And Secretary Cox, will you please take attendance for us?
Yeah. Member Weil?
Present.
Member Yashi? Here. Member Blankenhorn?
Here.
Kissinger?
Here.
Chairman Schenkel?
Present.
Member Bailey? Here. Member DeVault? Here. Member Cox is present.
On approval of agenda this evening, we do have an amendment to the agenda from the village manager. Do you want to, Jim, would you like to share what that is?
Yeah, we'd like to add the property improvement grant program, just an update on that under the village manager's report.
Okay. Trust everyone has had time to review this evening's agenda, and if so, I will call for a motion to approve this evening's agenda with the amendment.
Member DeVault, I make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
We have a motion on the table. Do we have support for that motion?
Member Riashi, support.
Support from Riashi. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Thank you. At this time, we will open it up for citizen comments. If anyone would like to come forward and share, you must state your full name, home address, and time is limited to 4 minutes. We'll give the crowd 2 seconds to make a motion towards the seeing none. We will move forward. And next item on our agenda is approval from the minutes from the June 9th meeting. As a reminder, we did not have a July meeting. So trust everyone has had time to review those minutes. And I will call for a motion to approve those.
Member Kissinger, motion to approve.
Motion from Kissinger. Do we have support for that motion?
Support from Blankenhorn.
Support from Blankenhorn. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Thank you. And on to Planning Commission items. We have a site plan review, the MCM expansion. And I'm going to pass it to staff here.
Yeah, we'll have asked Kyle Mooch, our zoning administrator, to go ahead and present to the planning commission site plan review, and then I'll provide the recommendation.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. If you'll bear with me, it's been some time, I think, since the Planning Commission's had a site plan to review. I believe our last one was the home development off of 22nd, and probably prior to that, the Bigby Coffee. So this may be, a little bit of a refresher. So we provided a staff report within your packet based on the MCM proposed expansion. They are seeking to add a warehousing building with just under 50,000 square feet. 49,910 to be located south of their existing building site. Overall, we classify their campus, so there are multiple parcels as one campus, so 10.3 acres in land overall. Their site is zoned I2, that's industrial for us. I will get to my recommendations here shortly, but through the site plan submission requirements, which is on page 3 of our report, if you're following through, it details what the scale has to be. It has to be sealed by an engineer, so forth. That has all been met. You'll see under site plan review, A, schedule regulations. We walk through what the I2 district requires for front, side, rear, and maximum lot coverage. As a reminder to the Planning Commission, MCM did receive 2 variances, one a few years ago for a side yard, so the rear property line, the east property setback, and then most recently a variance from the front yard setback along the public street right-of-way, so their west property boundary, in order to facilitate this expansion. So based on those 2 variances that were granted and the district regulations, they meet the front, side, rear setback provisions. They meet the maximum lot coverage because, again, I'm considering this a entire campus that they're building across of in that regard. From there, we also look at off-street parking, which is on page 4 of our report. They have 3 different uses on their site: office, warehouse, and manufacturing. Each one has its own different component for parking requirements. So one space for office is one space for 250 square feet, That's usable floor area. That's different than gross. Usable counts the main purpose of the facility. It takes away our like bathrooms, closets, mechanical rooms, so that way they don't get penalized for that. Same thing for the warehousing. And then where it's different manufacturing is gross floor area, so it takes in the entire site in that regard. So all that added together requires them to have 88 spaces. With the addition, there's the 42. Based on their plan set for us, they have a site located north of the expansion that they will accommodate additional parking, and then they're also proposing to add west of their existing site, north of their western office building in that regard. So based on those two expansions, they do have enough parking on site. Screening, as I think some of us are aware, is limited. They're supposed to provide a dense screen between their use and residential components. It's our understanding they are retaining the dense landscaping to the north along their fence line. That way, nothing will be impacted from those residential properties. Further, with this expansion being to the south of their existing facility, we felt that that was adequate in our regard. From there, we also look at stormwater management, which has been reviewed by the village engineer, Prine and Newhoff, and they have recommendations as well that we've passed along to the architect and their team. Site access, they will maintain along LaHaye? Am I saying that? Legion. Along the public road, they will maintain site access in that way. Landscaping and circulation, they've provided dimensions for us between parking spaces to ensure that there's adequate room for turnaround and access for that regard. And then on page 6, we start the site plan approval criteria, working through what they need to meet. I'm happy, Mr. Chair, to go through that if you find it prudent. Overall, we found that they have met the requirements of our village zoning ordinance for site plan review and approval for the I-2 district. There are 2 items that we've listed in here, and I am happy to talk about those, Mr. Mallory, unless you would like to, that we are suggesting be conditioned of approval for their site plan. So in that regard, we are asking that any approval tonight, if the planning commission so sees forth, but our recommendation is to approve that the applicant meet any of the village engineer comments. We have continued to pass those along to them, and any comments and conditions set forth by the village fire authority. We did get those from the building department as well, so we can pass those on in that regard. But otherwise, they're minimal in nature, and those can be addressed on the back end for staff review and approval. So overall, it looks to be a nice addition to the community, a nice addition to the industrial area down there. They've met with a lot of our concerns. We've addressed a lot of the other minor issues we've had on there. They've been great to work with in that regard, so happy to take questions, Mr. Chair.
I have questions, but I'll open up to the commission to see if there's any questions or clarifications needed at this time.
I had a question on the screening. This is definitely like a personal one for me because my house is in the aerial view of that, so I'm very aware of the screening right now. And like the dense vegetation that it lists in there is definitely not up to like that 8 feet and compact window. Like it is very spotty, and like there are a bunch of trees down and stuff like that, and it's just not consistent all the way down that road.
Mr. Mallory, would you like me to?
That's the screening that was originally put on the original buildings when they were constructed and deemed to have met it. But we can certainly look at other bushes that would have to, that could go there. I mean, is the preference to have like bushes that block the view, or?
That would be nice, or just like upkeeping the condition more, because right now they're not in good condition, and it clearly states like in the section that they do need to be maintaining good condition. Because like I mentioned, there's a bunch of downed trees, there's a bunch of trash in there, like it's just not been a well-maintained piece of property.
Yeah, I think that right next to the sugar maple plat, on that fence line, I mean, we're going back probably to the original development of the Legia Industrial Park, but we can have DPW ensure that any downed trees, we can take care of those. Fairly simple. I don't by memory have if MCM's line goes all the way up. I know there was a section that was, I believe it was prior to me, made into smaller, younger kids' baseball area. But we can take a look at it, and I'll make sure to work with the team at MCM to do what we can do to clean it up.
Okay. I just want to make sure that's noted in the proposal because as listed, that's not in there.
Sure. Well, I don't know if this site plan would have that screening because there's a building, it's the existing building that's currently there as a manufacturing facility that is the first building that would have that screening obligation. So this addition doesn't have a side that goes into a residential property. So I don't think it, and Kyle, you can correct me, but I don't think that condition on this site approval would be warranted. But taking notes, I can give you my word that we'll look into it based just on the existing buildings that are currently built to see what we can do to improve it.
Yeah, I'm just reading that last line in section C under the picture, which says, subject to the applicant property owner retaining the line of vegetation along it, this can be satisfied. And right now, I would argue it's not being retained well.
I would agree. And having kids gone through the Little League
Yeah.
program, that is a berm at best. And it's,
I couldn't say if it's been touched since I grew up playing Little League around here. Like, it is not great.
Well, we'll take a look at that whole line, because I don't know if you're talking about the Little League property.
I'm talking
That's-
about on the picture, the left to right tree line, that dense vegetation.
Mm-hmm. Kyle, so we can clarify the narrative that's written here. And you're separated by dense vegetation, you're calling the current, what is there now dense vegetation? What I'm hearing from a couple of the members is they're saying that's not dense.
We were
But-
on site a couple months ago, and I recall that, I mean, it seemed to be full growth, it was in good condition at that time. I mean, we've had a drought, so it could have been worsened since then, but as Mr. Mallory indicated, we will work with the applicant to ensure that. If it had no vegetation, if it was a clear to the homes, then yes, Mr. Weil, I would agree with you that they would need to satisfy that condition. But from us being on the site in recent months out there and seeing more from at that time, more of that dense vegetation, so.
Yeah, I'm just trying to reconcile what's currently there versus what's listed in the section, because I think that, like, if you went with, not saying this is what they need to do, but if they went with that 8-foot screen wall or, like, row of hedges, that would be a drastically different situation than it is now. It is very, very different than the cover that would provide.
But we don't have a condition on this site plan approval, any addition to be put in that because it met the definition of what is there. So I just want to make sure it's clarified that, unless you're going to correct me, have a part of the condition of this site plan to add anything to that property line because it's already an existing building that's there and has been there for 30 years now. It could have been met, it could have deteriorated, but it's not part meaning of this site plan approval.
Then I'm confused why it's listed in there.
Well, I think it's listed in, I guess I'll use retired cop vernacular, that it met our zoning requirements of dense vegetation currently. Now our interpretation of that, I will accept, differs than a couple members of this board, but that's basically it's saying, hey, the vegetation is there, it isn't a condition of the site plan approval. If that clarifies it or muddies it, I don't know. but I just want, I think, to be clear, it's not part of the site plan of a building that isn't adjacent to that residential neighborhood. But again, we will certainly look at that to see what improvements can be made. And certainly, the easiest thing, if there's fallen down brush or trees, we can take our equipment out there and clean that portion up pretty quickly, and then see what it looks like, and then in the proper growing season, see, whether it's fall or spring, look at improvements.
So, just a clarifying question on this, are these two parcels becoming one parcel?
Yes, it's,
Okay. So I guess that would kind of go to, like, the point of the existing business is making an addition, which is the property directly adjacent to the residential properties, which have the screening or berm as stated. And in this, it says density of plantings shall be determined by the planning commission. And so I guess if we're combining two parcels, making them one, and we're re-looking at the site plan of this one parcel, then that planting and tree berm area is under consideration for this site plan review, according to how it's written. So I think, how do we determine density of plantings? It's a planning commission.
Well, Mr. Shingo, that's where our ordinance is, unfortunately unclear in that regard. So, when we were on site recently and working with them, our view was that they had met the intent of the ordinance by using vegetation out there. As we've heard, that may not be the case anymore, or there may be some dead, dying things.
or it's a
especially with
case
the-
of interpretation.
So we are still confident that they are meeting the requirements of the ordinance in that regard, as Mr. Mallory indicated, and I'm happy to follow up with the applicant as well to go through there and see what may need to be readdressed. But from our standpoint, we found that they were meeting the intent. But again, that is up to the planning commission to determine, ultimately, so.
You need to turn on your mic, yeah.
Hey, guys, let's keep the side conversations at a minimum, please. I think,
Are there other comments from other members on this topic?
yeah. Are there other questions or comments?
We're looking at on page 5, just below that photo, that paragraph there. Our interpretation would be it's the owner's responsibility to maintain that, not the village's. No, I wouldn't say that as a act of good faith, the village goes out there and does that. I wouldn't have a problem with it, but I think that's good to be noted for future too, that they have to maintain that.
Again, our interpretation is that they meet the requirement in that regard. As Mr. Mallory indicated, the site has been in existence for some years. There is some growth out there. I am happy to go out there with Mr. Mallory at a later date and walk it with the owners and see what needs to be addressed.
Do you feel like your comments have been addressed, or would you like more notification on next steps?
I don't have any further comments. I think I've been heard.
Okay. Excuse me. So one of my questions is, I don't know which business creates noise in that kind of area, but I'm just curious if this addition will create additional noise.
I'm going to have to defer to the applicant.
It's well within our ordinance. It's met all of our ordinance and governance over it, both on that element as well. We have not seen any issue that would lead us to any concerns.
Well, I think the fact that we have variances that have been approved not by this body would lead me to believe otherwise. And so it's primarily the setback variances. So,
This, the setback variances had to do with the construction of the building, and this body does not oversee variances. It's set up by our governing body in the ordinance that those are heard by the zoning board of appeals, which is not this board. All of those factors were taken in by that government body, and they approved those variances unanimously. What's in front of this body is the site plan review.
which part of the site plan review is setback requirements?
The variances have been approved by the zoning board of appeals unanimously. Those are the setbacks. They've met those setbacks within their site plan, and that is why staff has evaluated all of this and is recommending a motion, support, and approval of it.
With the site plan review, Kyle, is part of it a notice out to the neighborhood?
That only happens for a special land use. This is a
Okay.
permitted use within there, so notification to the neighborhood's not required.
Okay.
Mr. Schenkel is required for variances, which it was done. It's required for rezonings and special land uses. So because this is just a site plan review, no notice is required.
Okay.
It was done for the variance
It was done for
request that was for the zoning board of appeals.
I think we saw that at one point.
We gave a verbal presentation, but it wasn't a vote by this board, it was out of courtesy.
We approved it. I think we've seen that as part of this for future expansion at some point. I think we
Yeah,
showed
that,
it
on
was
their
approved.
previous site plan of the building that is current, they had a approval for an expansion, but two things changed. One is the setbacks to our zoning ordinance we changed in that timing to become more competitive to other Southwest Michigan municipalities. Then, due to some of the components that they would need in this manufacturing facility, some of those front setbacks off Legia were impacted because it hits the cul-de-sac area. So you don't have a straight front setback line. That's what motivated the variance request on the front setback, was because of what was created due to the cul-de-sac, which the owner didn't control.
Any further comments or questions from the commission? All right. I will call for a motion to approve the site plan review as presented.
This is Member Plankenhorn. I make a motion to support the site plan review as presented.
We have a motion from Plankenhorn on the table. Do we have support for that motion?
Bailey, support.
I think I heard Bailey first, so I'm going to go with Bailey. All right. Secretary Cox, will you please take a roll call vote?
Member Lyle,
Approve.
Member Yashi,
Approve.
Member Blankenhorn,
Approve?
Member Kissinger,
Approve.
Chairman Schenkel,
Approve.
Member Bailey,
Approved.
Member DeBolt,
Approve.
Member Cox, approve.
Okay.
Do you want to give, one of the owners are here, as well as a representative from Southwest Michigan First, if anybody want an opportunity to say anything, or Steve or Dan?
Hi, I'm Steve Shoemaker, one of the owners of MCM. Thank you all for taking your time tonight and looking at the site plan. I just wanted to address the trees. I know that there's a berm there, which I believe it's the berm and the trees is what's required, Kyle? Okay. So, and I know a lot of it's grown over, and like I say, we can definitely take a look at that, so, and do some addressing, but I know it goes all the way down the line, all the way to the ball fields, so, but it's not been touched since I've owned the property, so. I know there was some trash in there, and I don't know if you've been to our property, but we've cleaned a lot of stuff up since the previous owner. Jim's probably never remembered that, but a lot of people have. So you're but and again, I welcome anybody to come out and take a look at it. So we have a great facility, and we like it here in Vicksburg, and don't want to go anywhere. So thank you. Any questions?
Thanks, Steve.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, next item on our agenda tonight is the DDA agenda, and we have a Berg Bucks program update.
Yeah, and first of all, like I mentioned to you, Steve, you can either stay and listen to the exciting news in the Downtown Development Authority, or no one's going to be offended if you slip out, all right? Yeah, all right, and I'll stop by later this week to do that, so thank you. On that, we have secured a $25,000 grant to help supplement what will be a 25% match on simple mathematics. For a $100 Berg Buck gift card, they will receive that gift card and a $25 one, or conversely, it's 25% in the denominations we set up. The contract with the company, we received that notice last week of that award. Ben Yifty is the company that has sent the contract. It is being reviewed by the village attorney staff, and I will get an answer to that. I anticipate by the end of the week having that contract in place, and then we will have a communication email through all of our businesses within the entire village limits. It's not just a downtown program, but throughout the village. But it will be restricted to only businesses within the village of Vicksburg that are eligible for it. Right now, we're scheduled for that to all be in place with a public kickoff campaign beginning September 20th. That is well in advance of the holiday shopping season. It's an interesting component we'll look at as well to get to different employers, because not only can individuals purchase the gift cards, but if a local business wanted their recognition of their employees locally, they could set up a specific program where they would then get 25% match, meaning, and then if they wanted to do $1,000, it'd be $1,250, and they could do $10 increments. We can specialize it for a program like that. But it came out of this group, and it's been, I don't know if long's the terminology, but a process, but a big component was to receive that grant, initial dollars to make a program. So be happy to answer any questions about that.
Do we have an idea of what businesses may join?
I believe the majority will. The ones I've talked to informally uses a MasterCard platform. It does not, won't cost the business any additional fees above what they currently pay the MasterCard platform. So I would personally see no reason why a business would not want to accept it, but we'll certainly report back on how many and total numbers and percentage wise, but I'm confident that the program is pretty good. Talked to the Royal Oak, talked to the city of Portage, and very positive, especially around holiday promotions and that. So,
Thank you.
Will there be like a social media kind of splash?
yeah,
Yeah.
there'll be a.
Cool. All right, any other questions regarding the Berg Bucks? All right, Berg Days update.
Yeah, we've had 6. We have 3 more to go. Both of the rain makeup dates have been used. We just finalized some 2 of the bands for the 27th, signed those contracts. It's been, I think, a warmer than typical on some nights, but the participation and attendance we're very happy with. We're happy with the feedback we're getting from local businesses on the impact, and also the reputation of the village in doing these weekly events. I think now into our third year, I will say publicly, I think some people don't realize what goes into making sure these events go off on a weekly basis. So a big shout out of gratitude to our members of our Department of Public Works and our police department. A lot of husbands and fathers and mothers in that group that have to spend a lot of time to ensure people enjoy the Berg program, but we're in the last month of it, and it's been a successful third year.
Jim, are there any stats on, attendance?
Yeah, we'll do that at the end of the year. We do have Discover Kalamazoo that we've have the appropriate oversight in place to capture devices in the community as well as where they're going in the community. And we'll put a report out probably at, it'll probably be the September council meeting and the October planning commission meeting. But it'll be the same on those stats, so.
I think just a heads up as someone who frequents the event, over the past 3 years, with the momentum that we have, but knowing what is coming to downtown Kalamazoo, I think it's going to be important moving forward to keep the momentum is to figure out ways that we can continue to elevate the experience moving forward. Seen this happen in so many different communities where an event, happens and then just kind of lays flat because we don't elevate the experience. So just, keep that in mind to those that are on the DDA, that stuff can tend to happen in years 4, 5, 6. So just friendly advice from different communities.
All right. Senior Berg Day.
Yeah, so the Thursday after Labor Day, 55 and older, we put on, this will be our third year for the Senior Berg Day. Have all the logistics squared away, but it will be September 4th from 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. At the pavilion at the Historic Village. There will be a meal for the seniors, music being played, as well as different games. And then the additional component is multiple senior service type organizations there at the site who's being coordinated through Brian Penny at South Kalamazoo County Community Services. So we're looking forward to a good event that day as well for our senior population.
Is this the second year doing that?
Third.
Oh, so it's been generally well attended?
There's been a couple hundred each year.
Nice. Cool. And then we have a DDA open meeting.
Yeah,
Sorry, did I
each
miss
year we
somebody?
have to have an annual meeting. The annual meeting will be September 8th. Have an agenda and kind of a yearly review on just DDA, what was accomplished in the fiscal year that ended June 30th of 25.
Did I miss somebody down here? I heard a click. You good? Okay.
I did want to mention, I know the next time we're here, we're likely to see Christmas in the Berg on this. I know Family and Children's Services reached out to me about wanting to participate again in doing the toy drive. I know we kind of threw it together last minute last year, but it was a great experience for them. I think it'd be really cool to continue to do with a little bit more support and maybe make it a little bit bigger this year, but they are on board if we like to have them again.
So we certainly would, and I think that that first meeting is by the end of the month, isn't it, or after Labor Day? But
No, it's the end of this month. I've talked to Tasha, who's going to get in touch with you and you as well, and we'll get a date out. It's the end of this month. It's time to start getting that together, so.
Cool.
Okay.
Please, if I could be of help in any way, please.
Well, there was a lot you did last year, and we'd like you on the committee to
Yeah.
help with it.
Awesome.
I'm always happy for your help.
All right. And on to village manager report.
Yeah, I just wanted to, this week, we will be distributing to the Downtown Development Association businesses the opportunity for this fiscal year's property improvement grant program. We certainly know, and I think some of the information referenced Vickers and their investment into the community, and I think there's going to be a couple others. So looking forward to the projects we'll get to review. And then ultimately, will be the village president, chairman of the planning commission, myself, village attorney, and I think the president pro temp will evaluate the applications and report back to this board on our recommendations of moving forward.
Any questions or comments for the village manager on that? All right, we'll move on to member comments. Any comments from the commission tonight?
Just wanted to thank everyone who pushed the Berg Bucks thing through. I know that was a big project, but I think it's going to be a really neat addition to the village and well utilized.
All right. Time is 7:36. I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everyone.